crafting journey. Today I want to share something close to my heart, a little DIY adventure that started with curiosity and turned into a creative breakthrough. It's about how I made my very first homemade glue using just 2 ingredients, and how I began crafting my own candles using a beginner-friendly kit from Temu. These small steps are part of a bigger dream, creating unique, handmade items for my art and eventually offering them on my website. Let's start with the glue. I've always loved crafting pop-up cards. There's something magical about seeing flat paper come to life with folds, layers, and movement, but I wanted to try something different this time, something homemade. So I thought, why not make my own glue? I grabbed 1 cup of sugar and poured it into a pot. Then I added about half a pot of water, maybe a little less. I brought it to a boil, watching as the sugar dissolved and the mixture thickened slightly. The smell was sweet and comforting, almost like candy. Once it cooled down a bit, I poured it into a small bottle I had saved for crafting supplies. That was it, my first homemade glue. Simple, natural, and surprisingly effective. I used it right away for my pop-up card design. The glue held the paper layers beautifully, and I loved knowing that I had made it myself. It added a personal touch to the project, and I could feel the difference. It wasn't just about sticking things together, it was about creating something from scratch. Now onto the candles. This part of the journey is still unfolding. I ordered a candle making set from Temu, which came with molds and basic tools. Before diving in, I watched 2 tutorials, both are linked in the description below if you're curious. They gave me the confidence to try it myself. I didn't have fresh wax, so I used old tea lights I had lying around. I carefully removed the metal casings and wicks, then melted the wax in a small pot. It only took a few seconds of boiling to get a smooth, liquid consistency. I poured the wax into the molds from the Temu set, and the filling process went surprisingly fast. It was satisfying to see the forms take shape. Right now, the candles are in the freezer. I want them to set properly before I check the final result. I'm planning to leave them in there for about 3 hours. After that, I'll film the reveal and share it with you all. I'm excited to see how they turn out, especially since this is my first time trying candle making. These candles will be available for sale on my website once they're finished. It's a small step toward building my own handmade collection, and I'm proud of how far I've come. From sugar glue to recycled wax, every part of this process has been a learning experience. So if you're thinking about trying something new, whether it's crafting, cooking, or creating, just start. Hey everyone! I'm so excited to welcome you to my channel today. I want to take you on a little journey that's very special to me. My first experience with making homemade glue and candles. It all started with a spark of curiosity and a desire to create something unique. Let's dive into the process. First up, my homemade glue. I discovered that with just 2 simple ingredients, I could whip up a glue that's not only effective but also safe and easy to make. It's amazing how something so basic can open the door to endless creative possibilities. I mixed the ingredients together, and as I watched them transform, I felt a rush of excitement. This wasn't just glue, it was a step toward bringing my artistic visions to life. Now on to the candle making. I decided to try a beginner-friendly kit from Temu. And let me tell you, it was a delightful experience. The kit came with everything I needed, and the instructions were clear and easy to follow. As I melted the wax and added my favorite scents, I could already imagine how these candles would light up my space and add a personal touch to my home. The process of pouring the wax into the molds was incredibly satisfying. I felt a sense of accomplishment with each candle I created. It was more than just a craft. It was a way to express myself and my creativity. I realized that these small projects were not just hobbies. They were stepping stones toward a bigger dream of creating unique, handmade items that I could eventually share with all of you on my website. Throughout this journey, I learned that creativity doesn't have to be intimidating. Hey there, it
can
can start
start with
with simple
channel.
steps and a
Today,
willingness to experiment. I'm excited to share my journey
Whether you're
into the
making
world
glue
of
or
homemade
candles
and glue.
The joy is in the
It's been a
process
fun
and
and creative adventure.
satisfaction of creating
And I
something
can't wait
with
to
your
take you
own
along
hands.
with me. I
Let's
hope my
start with the
experience
glue.
inspires you
I
to
had this
embark
idea
on your
that
own
making my own
DIY
glue would be a
adventures.
simple task.
Remember, every
But boy,
great
was I in
creation
for a
starts with a
surprise.
single step. I gathered
And
my
there's no
materials,
right or wrong way
and
to
as I
express
began
your
the creativity,
So
I
grab
quickly
some
realized
supplies,
that it
let
required
your imagination run
a bit
wild,
more time
and see where it
patience
takes
than I
you.
initially thought.
Thank you so much
But
for
that's
joining
the
me
beauty
today.
of crafting, isn't it?
I truly appreciate
It
your
teaches us
support
to
and
embrace
can't
the
wait to
journey,
share more
even
of
when
my
it doesn't go
creative
as planned. Journey with
as
you.
I mix the ingredients.
If you enjoyed this video,
I found myself
please
reflecting
consider
on the
following or
importance of
subscribing for
creativity
more
in our
DIY
lives.
adventures and inspiration.
It's not just about the
Until
end
next
product.
time, keep creating
about the
and
joy
stay
of creating
inspired.
something with your own hands.
Each stir of the pot felt like a small victory, reminding me that every great creation starts with a single step. Now let's talk about the candles. I decided to use old tea lights for my first batch. It felt great to repurpose something that might have otherwise gone to waste. Melting down those tea lights was a fascinating process. Watching the wax transform from solid to liquid was mesmerizing, and it made me appreciate the beauty of the materials we often overlook. As the wax melted, I couldn't help but think about how these simple ingredients could bring warmth and light into my home. There's something incredibly satisfying about creating candles that not only look beautiful, but also fill the room with a lovely fragrance. It's like capturing a little piece of joy in a jar. Once the wax was ready, I poured it into my molds, and the anticipation of seeing the final product was thrilling. I learned that patience is key in crafting. Allowing the candles to cool and set properly made all the difference in the world. It's a reminder that good things take time, and the wait is often worth it. Throughout this process, I encountered a few challenges. There were moments when the glue didn't turn out quite right, or the candles didn't set as I had hoped. But instead of feeling discouraged, I embraced these moments as learning opportunities. Each setback taught me something new, and I found myself growing more confident in my abilities. As I reflect on this journey, I realize that crafting is not just about the finished product. It's about the experiences we gather along the way. It's about the joy of experimentation, the thrill of discovery, and the satisfaction of creating something unique. So if you're thinking about diving into candle and glue making, I encourage you to go for it. Don't be afraid to make mistakes. They're all part of the process. Embrace the creativity within you and let it shine through your projects. Thank you for joining me on this adventure. I hope you found some inspiration in my journey. If you enjoyed this video, please consider subscribing for more creative content. Remember, every small step you take in your crafting journey is a step toward discovering your unique artistic voice. Happy crafting and see you next time. Hey everyone! Welcome back to my channel. Today, I'm excited to share my journey into the world of homemade candles and glue. It's been quite the adventure, and I can't wait to take you along with me. Let's start with the glue. I always thought making glue at home would be a simple task, but I quickly learned that it takes a bit more time and patience than I initially expected. I gathered my materials, which included some basic ingredients that you probably already have at home. The process was fascinating. I mixed everything together, and while it took longer than I anticipated, I found joy in the little moments of waiting and watching the transformation happen. It's amazing how something so simple can bring such satisfaction. Now, onto the candle making part of my journey. I decided to use old tea lights that I had lying around. It felt great to finally put them to good use instead of letting them gather dust. I melted down the wax, and I was surprised at how easy it was once I had everything prepared. The aroma filled my space, and I couldn't help but smile as I thought about how these candles would soon light up my home. As I cleaned up my workspace, I reflected on how fulfilling this whole process has been. There's something incredibly rewarding about creating something with your own hands. It's not just about the end product. It's about the experience, the learning, and the joy of crafting. I found myself getting lost in the moment, enjoying the simplicity of the task at hand. Throughout this journey, I also learned a few tips that I'd love to share with you. First, always make sure you have all your materials ready before you start. It saves time and helps you stay focused. Second, don't rush the process. Whether you're making glue or candles, take your time to enjoy each step. And lastly, don't be afraid to experiment. If you have different scents or colors, try mixing them. You might discover a new favorite combination. As I poured the melted wax into my mold, I felt a sense of accomplishment wash over me. Watching the candles take shape was mesmerizing. I couldn't wait to see how they would turn out once they cooled. The anticipation was part of the fun. Once everything was set, I lit one of my newly made candles, and the warm glow filled the room. It was a beautiful moment, and I felt proud knowing that I had created something special. The scent wafted through the air, and I realized that these candles were not just decorations. They were a reflection of my creativity and effort. I hope my journey inspires you to try your hand at making your own glue and candles. It's a wonderful way to express yourself and bring a little warmth into your home. Plus, it's a fantastic activity to do with friends or family. Imagine gathering around, sharing stories, and creating something beautiful together. Thank you so much for joining me on this journey today. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up and consider subscribing for more creative adventures. I can't can't wait to share more with you soon. Until next time, happy crafting! Hey everyone! Welcome back to my channel. Today, I'm excited to share my journey into the world of homemade candles and glue. It's been a fun and creative adventure, and I can't wait to take you along with me. Let's start with the glue making process. I decided to create my own glue because I wanted to explore a more natural and eco-friendly option. I gathered my materials, which included some simple ingredients that I already had at home. It took a bit longer than I anticipated, but that's part of the fun, right? The process of experimenting and learning is what makes crafting so rewarding. As I was working on the glue, I couldn't help but feel a sense of nostalgia. It reminded me of my childhood, when I would spend hours crafting and creating with my hands. There's something incredibly satisfying about making something from scratch, and I found myself getting lost in the process. I mixed the ingredients carefully, watching as they transformed into a sticky, usable glue. It was a bit messy, but that's all part of the creative journey. Once I had my glue ready, it was time to dive into candle making. I had some old tea lights that I decided to repurpose. It felt great to give them a new life instead of tossing them away. I melted down the wax and the aroma filled my space, creating a cozy atmosphere. It's amazing how something as simple as melting wax can evoke such warm feelings. Candle making turned out to be much easier than I expected. With the right materials at hand, I found myself enjoying the process even more. I poured the melted wax into molds, watching it take shape. As I worked, I thought about how each candle would bring a little light and warmth into my home. There's something magical about creating something that can brighten up a space and create a calming ambiance. Throughout this journey, I learned a few valuable lessons. First, patience is key. Whether it's waiting for the glue to set or the wax to cool, taking your time can lead to better results. Second, don't be afraid to experiment. I tried different scents and colors for my candles, and it was so much fun to see how they turned out. Each creation was unique, just like the process itself. I also realized the importance of being mindful of the materials I used. By repurposing old tea lights, I was not only saving money but also reducing waste. It felt good to know that I was making choices that were better for the environment. If you're considering trying your hand at candle making or glue making, I encourage you to think about how you can incorporate sustainable practices into your projects. As I wrapped up my candle making session, I felt a sense of accomplishment. I had created something beautiful and functional, and I couldn't wait to share it with my friends and family. There's a special joy in gifting handmade items, knowing that you poured your heart and creativity into each piece. If you're inspired to start your own crafting journey, I wholeheartedly encourage you to give it a try. Whether it's making glue, candles, or any other DIY project, the experience can be incredibly fulfilling. Remember, it's not about perfection. It's about enjoying the process and expressing yourself creatively. Thank you so much for joining me on this adventure. I hope you found some inspiration in my homemade glue and candle making journey. If you enjoyed this video, please consider subscribing to my channel for more creative content. I can't wait to share more projects with you in the future. Until next time, happy crafting! Hey there, candle enthusiasts! Welcome back to my channel. Today I'm excited to share my journey of making my very first homemade candles using leftover wax. It's been such a fun and creative process, and I can't wait to show you the results. So let's dive right in. I had a collection of leftover wax from various candles that I had burned over time. Instead of tossing it out, I thought, why not repurpose it? It's a great way to reduce waste and create something beautiful at the same time. Plus, making candles at home is a fantastic way to add a personal touch to your space. To start, I gathered all my leftover wax and melted it down. The scent of the melting wax filled my kitchen with a warm, inviting aroma. It was such a comforting experience. I used a double boiler method to ensure the wax melted evenly without burning. If you're trying this at home, just remember to keep an eye on the temperature. You want it to be hot enough to melt, but not so hot that it becomes a hazard. Once the wax was melted, I poured it into my candle molds. I decided to mix and match different colors and scents to create unique combinations. It was like being an artist with a blank canvas. I even added some essential oils for an extra touch of fragrance. The anticipation of waiting for the candles to set was thrilling. I couldn't wait to see how they would turn out. After a few hours, the moment of truth arrived. I carefully removed the candles from the molds, and I was genuinely impressed with the results. Each candle had its own character, and the colors blended beautifully. It felt so rewarding to see something I created with my own hands. Not only did I save money by using leftover wax, but I also discovered a new hobby that I absolutely love. If you're looking for a creative outlet or a way to unwind, I highly recommend giving candle making a try. It's a wonderful way to express yourself and bring a little warmth into your home. Thank you so much for joining me on this candle making adventure. I hope you feel inspired to try it yourself. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up and consider subscribing for more creative content. Let's keep exploring new projects together. Until next time, happy crafting! Hey there, friends! Welcome back to my channel. Today, I'm excited to share my journey of making my very first homemade candles, and I can't wait to take you along for the ride. Let's dive right in! I started with some leftover materials I had lying around, including an empty tube bottle that was just waiting for a new purpose. It's amazing how creativity can turn what seems like clutter into something beautiful. I filled that tube with glue, which became a fun part of my candle making process. As I melted the wax and mixed in my favorite scents, I felt a sense of calm wash over me. There's something truly special about creating something with your own hands. The warm glow of the candles and the delightful aroma filled my space, making it feel cozy and inviting. I hope this inspires you to explore your own creative projects. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up and consider subscribing for more fun DIY adventures. Thank you for joining me today, and I can't wait to see you in the next one.